Hello, everybody. Welcome to Is This a Ghost? I'm Clayton Smith, and every week I tell a real ghost story from real history to my real friend, Patrick Dean, who doesn't take it real seriously. But that's okay. You don't have to believe it. Listen, you don't have to believe in ghosts to listen to this podcast. Is what I think.
Yeah, I mean, I listen to it sometimes, and I don't believe in ghosts.
No.
So,
you know who else listens and doesn't? No, you know who should listen, you know they don't believe in ghosts, is the people who leave really angry Spotify reviews that say, you guys talked about nothing for a long time, and then you talked about a ghost that doesn't exist. And this is, by the way, if you're listening and you're thinking you might go to Spotify and say that somewhere, I don't approve those comments. So you're wasting your time.
Yeah,
I'm not letting those pass the filter. So
unless you leave a 5-star with it, then
maybe.
Okay,
maybe.
Yeah.
The place you want to leave the bad reviews is Apple Podcasts, because I cannot filter those. So if you really want to send a message, that's a place to do it. Gosh, what else? Oh, we have an announcement. Hey, folks, Pat and I, we're sitting here right now. We are having a blast recording this show for you. And we do pretty much every Monday. And if you want to sit in while we do a live recording, now you can. On February, is it 26th? I should have written the date down before doing this. Let's look.
It's a February something.
Pick a month pick a Monday in February.
I'm gonna say the 26th.
You are correct. On the 26th, yes. February 26th. Come on over, y'all. On February 26th, you can sit in on us while we do our recording on Zoom. And let me tell you, the Zoom recordings, Jen and Jeremy could tell you, there's a lot that's on the cutting room floor.
Entirely different.
It's entirely different experience.
It's like Pulp Fiction. It's out of order. It doesn't all make sense.
It very rarely makes sense.
And then comes back.
Yep. Yeah. One of us curses even more. It's a whole thing.
Jen
and you can join
a lot of that stuff out.
Yeah. Yep. And you can witness it all for the first time. So if you come, you can join us on February 26th on that Monday, starting at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. We'll start recording. You can go into our private YouTube channel. You can sit in our private YouTube screening room with some of our other friends, virtually speaking, and you can sit there and chat with them in a little chat box. Producer Ryan will be in there with you. You can bug him. I love when people bother Ryan a lot.
He will be moderating though, so he will have the power to remove comments.
That is true. So you're going to want to, he is pretty misanthropic, and you're going to want to take that into account. But if you want to sit there and watch while we do this live recording, and then we'll do like a Q&A afterward. If anyone has questions they want to ask, we'll stick around for a few minutes and do that. And you can do that and have some fun with some other iTag fans. And all you have to do is pay us literally whatever you want for a ticket to that. We are charging at least $1, but you can pay $1. You could pay $1,000 if you want. I think we've earned it.
I would say if you pay $1,000, I'm gonna let you moderate. I'm gonna fire Ryan.
Oh my God! Can we fire Ryan from his own company? Ryan is a new CEO. I'm sorry. You're being asked to leave, and he's gonna have a hard time saying no, because that's more money than he's ever made for this podcast. I'll tell you what. And if you're interested in that, there's more information on our website. Go to isthisaghost.com/store. You'll see a little button there for events, and there is one event there. It is this one.
Pretty ambitious. We pluralized it, so
fingers crossed. We're still hoping to get Patrick on board for the New Orleans trip that Ryan and I are doing at the end of March. He's being stubborn about it, but but we'll see. Airfare is insanely expensive, by the way. So does that help shift the needle at all?
Are you like a salesperson for this trip or something? This is
run a
great.
Marketing program, so I know how to do it. Scarcity, supply and demand. Anyway, join us. It'll be fun. Probably be fun.
Someone will have fun.
I'll do a good story that day. That'll be one of the good ones.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Everyone should show up then.
Please, God, show up. What else? I was surprised to learn, Patrick, that I had to learn from your wife's Instagram post about COVID vaccines that you're planning a trip to Disney.
I am. Well, I'm not, but I mean, the person we paid money is planning it.
Sure,
She's doing a great job.
You're
She's
going
doing fantastic.
to it. And here's what I'll say. When I go to Disneyland, I tell you all the time. I tell you, as soon as I think about going, I call you. And I say, Patrick, I'm going to Disneyland. I wanted you to be the first to know before I tell Aaron or the girls.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You said keep it secret from Erin because I haven't told her yet, and I like had to like quickly delete the text to Erin.
Yeah,
and be
because
like,
you were
oh
already
yeah,
working on it. Yeah. So I don't know. It's not reciprocal, and that's interesting because we talk a lot about Disney on here. I thought we'd kind of developed a Disney dads bond thing, and I guess that's not true. But don't make that face.
It's a shame you had to learn about this very publicly, but
Yeah, right. Yeah, yep. Been hurtful. Is there any apology you want to make, or any details you want to share that you haven't shared with anyone else yet?
doesn't seem like it. I mean,
Huh.
like dates or anything? No,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna share
Dates,
that. Obviously,
flight numbers, hotel, all that.
flight numbers. How much money do you think this podcast rakes in? Flying to Disney. I didn't win the fucking Super Bowl. None of my kids are dying. I'm not flying anywhere.
It's not like a Make-A-Wish thing for you.
I'm very happy none of my kids are dying. But
Yeah, sure.
that being
That's
said,
a gut, yeah.
that being said, I am driving a minivan for like 16 hours, and that's going to be on my mind.
And if someone's not dead by the end of it, that will be a miracle.
Maybe a free flight home is what it sounds like to me.
Oh boy. Well, that'll be fun. There's one other note. Oh, and I promised someone I'd do a shout out for them. So a few weeks back, I talked about one of my books that's for sale, Apocalypticon, because the third book in that series is coming out soon. And one of our UK listeners, Danny Naiman, reached out to me this week, and he was very helpful. He was trying to buy Apocalypticon on my website, and he had some issues because my website is bad because I did it myself.
Ooh.
And he said, hey, this is broken horribly. Is there something I should be doing differently? Anyway, so he troubleshot with me. Troubleshooted? Troubleshoot. Yeah, he troubleshoot with me. Yeah. And took a few tries, and he kept trying, and he finally made it happen. So and that revolutionized my whole website.
Did he accidentally buy like 7 copies of the book at that point?
He thinks he did. Now on the back end, I did just hit the plus. So hopefully he's not listening to this episode.
If you click the PayPal button 7 times in a row, you get 7 things that you wanted.
It's amazing. So thank you, Danny, very much. I really appreciate your help. That was great. And he bought my book. So he is, I don't know, he's my favorite listener this week. You've done it, Danny. You've become my favorite listener.
Climb to the top of a heap.
Yep.
And step on a lot of children to get to the top of that heap. And here you are.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Yep. Anything else you want to talk about before we get into the show?
I don't have much going on.
No. Okay. It's February now. We're out of January.
Oh my God. Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought you might want to discuss
I'm a little
that.
hungover from celebrating the last 3 days. Oh my goodness. Every year when I put January in the rearview mirror, it's a really special day. It really is.
Yeah. Now, February 1st, obviously, is the first day of that calendar turn, right? Traditionally speaking. Now, I noticed that you didn't also then wish me a happy half birthday on that day, which was a little hurtful.
You're still doing that? Okay.
Oh, I'm trying, but I also went about 4 hours into February 1st before I told Erin that she may want to wish me a happy half birthday.
Oh.
And she looked at me dead in the eyes and said, "No, I don't want to." and I thought maybe that was like a fun game or some kind of weird foreplay or something. No, it wasn't. It was
the longer this podcast goes on, the closer I grow to Erin. I'm not really sure if that's the goal here, but
I think that's a normal trajectory of this,
of relationships with you. Yeah, your wife is really a lot nicer than you are.
The more you get to know me, the more you like my other half a lot better. There's the Liz. I promise the last thing, and then we'll do the ghost story.
How long are these notes?
I know. I'm sorry. It's been a busy week. I'm back at work, and it's busy. Someone pointed out on our Facebook after the George Washington episode, and not in a mean way, just in a sharing way.
Yeah.
That in the George Washington episode, the ghost didn't even show up until 60 minutes into the episode.
Well, I mean, the actual ghost part, sure.
Yes.
But
well, this is my point. So this is also something people like to say on Spotify that I do not approve. That goes into the trash bin. But yes, sometimes there's a long story. But listen, friends, the story of how someone dies, that's part of the ghost story. You don't get a ghost without that part.
Yeah. Otherwise, we would all be ghosts.
Yeah. Hello.
And that would process be weird.
Here. And then this podcast would have served no purpose because the answer would always be yes. Yes, Ghost.
Yeah.
So
these are the same people that complain that like 8 hours smoked ribs take way too long, and I can just put chicken nuggets in the microwave and they'll be done in 30 seconds. I'm not really sure what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
All
and to
day
you kind
here.
of people, we say, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, go fuck yourself, you microwave chicken eating. Sorry,
listeners who add to our listener count. No, be clear,
I do love microwave chicken nuggets though. I
they
had
are
some
pretty
for
good
dinner.
actually.
Yep.
I make some for Ivy yesterday, and I ate half of them. They were they were good. No, and again, this person was not complaining. I want to be very clear about that. She's listening probably, and I'm not calling her out. It wasn't a bad thing, but I just want to say, because other people have called us out on this before, the story of death is the story of Ghost. I think that's important.
Yeah, it's really the story of life, honestly.
Yeah, and really, that's what this podcast is: a celebration of the story of life.
Exactly.
I'd like you to keep that all in mind as I begin this ghost story,
which is 127 minutes long.
The ghost will appear in the last 2 sentences. Start reading Pride and Prejudice out loud. I'll start telling a ghost story, and we'll see who gets to the end first. Cyrus Teed was born on October 18th, 1839 in Trout Creek, New York. He grew up in Utica, and he went to school until the ripe old age of 11.
I mean, kind of learned everything you need to know in the 1800s.
I learned everything I needed to know by 11, for sure.
How to tie a knot.
How to take a nap.
How to run away from
responsibilities
and bears. And yeah, I think you're good at that point.
That's it. Yep.
So
he agreed. His parents agreed. 11, he was a man, and it was time for him to go get a job. And so at the age of 11, he got a job working on the Erie Canal.
Oh, the beautiful Erie Canal.
Beautiful
picturesque.
Erie Canal.
Rarely burns.
I think is this the one that caught fire?
No, it might have. The Cuyahoga is the one that catches fire a lot. I don't know if the Erie Canal catches fire a lot, but it probably has.
Which is the Great Lake by Cleveland.
That's Erie.
That's Erie. That has definitely caught fire before.
Yes. Yeah.
Famously, I think.
Only locally though. Like not. It didn't spread over because Lake Erie primarily is water. But yeah, near Cleveland, strangely, it became
quite flammable.
Quite less water than it normally would be.
So he's working the Erie Canal. He's doing a great job. He would drive the animals that pulled the boats along the canal. So I guess giant seahorses is what I'm picturing. Put a big saddle on that seahorse and giddy up.
Interesting. I think they had like livestock on the sides of the canal, just like dragging shit.
I guess so.
When
they hitch them up like at a terrible angle. That's gotta be bad for the oxen's shoulders.
It really does.
That's not good.
You go through a lot of oxen that way, I would imagine.
Yeah, you got a little animal chiropractor over there. Little massages at the end.
Inventive though. Inventive.
Yes.
No engines.
Yep.
This is 1850.
This is 1850.
1850ish. So I don't know when the steam engine was invented, but I gotta imagine.
I think around.
Still probably pretty expensive.
Before then. Oh, I think so.
Yeah. It was invented a lot longer after abusing livestock. I remember that.
Yeah, that's a tale as old as time, my friend. And the way they used to do the canals on the Erie, or the boats on the Erie Canal, was you'd get 50 people to swim out there, and you all grab the back. You just paddle your feet, and that was not very efficient.
Yeah, and then once that stopped working, then there was this one guy that walked up to the barge with his boot and just kind of pushed it. Then you kind of walk another foot and give it another
push. Yeah.
There's
another guy
died.
On the other side of the canal. Yeah. So you go back and
pushing.
Forth. It's like the world's
No, you
biggest,
push when
slowest
I
game of
push.
pong.
Otherwise, we just go back and forth.
This is so stupid. No, listen. I can't hear you. You're across the canal. Can't hear you, friend. So that was his job, Cyrus Teed. Oh, fun fact. Cyrus, what? I got so scared. I'm usually pretty good with the fun fact sound. I was listening to the James Dean episode today, and there's one that really sneaks up on you in that one. as our listeners will already know by now. Oh, by the way, Patrick, you are not the only person now to formally request that we stop using that sound effect, and I refuse to stop. But I do want to make this is a good time to do a blanket disclaimer. If you're driving, this might not be the show for you, because one of these days you're going to hear a fun fact and you're going to go right off the road.
If you survive the James Dean episode while driving, though,
it's a good test.
Could be much worse.
Yeah, and how fitting to run off the road in your car and explode during that episode. Really,
maybe another layer to the ghost. Certainly,
absolutely.
The next person does a podcast by James Dean Ghost going to have to include us and pay royalties.
Yes. Anyway, so the fun fact is Cyrus was a distant relative of Joseph Smith.
Oh,
founder of our friends at the Latter-day Saints. Now, eventually Cyrus gets older. He gets married. They have a son, building a life. He's 12. And he, I don't know. He's older than that when he gets married as a son.
Once you turn 13, it's, a clock starts ticking.
Yeah, it sure
bang,
does.
bang, bang.
You got 3 good years left in you, friend. It's 1850. Now, Cyrus has been studying medicine while he's working. So I don't know how long he was driving animals along the canal, but eventually started studying medicine. And eventually he opens up his own practice back in Utica. And he was what is known as a, quote, eclectic physician.
Okay. I don't love where this is heading. I really, really don't like where this is heading.
I don't know why. As an eclectic physician, he used a lot of botanical remedies to make people well.
Oh, okay.
He's like a natural medicine healer.
Yeah, pretty harmless.
Yeah, so it's like if
also helpless, but yeah.
Probably not much more harmful than actual medicine at this time, to be honest.
That's very true. You want the leeches again, or I got some leaves you can rub on it? I'll try the leaves this time.
How much blood you got left? We haven't hit any ounces yet.
The leaves or the beetles? Oh, not the beetles again.
You've been shot 3 times. Do you want the beetles or do you want to chew these leaves? Here's some dandelions. Call me in a week. He also was particularly interested in, quote, unconventional experiments.
Okay.
These usually involved alchemy, for which he often used, again, I quote, dangerously high levels of electricity.
Oh. So they did have electricity at this point. Okay.
Yeah, yes, they got electricity. That's how they shocked the ox to get it to go.
Yeah. So they had just invented electricity.
Yeah.
This world-changing technology, essentially granted by the hand of God. And the first thing this guy does is I kind of want to torture some animals with it and see what comes out.
If I can make gold, I can out of this lead, I can somehow use that to be a better doctor.
Sure.
I couldn't really connect the dots on how that was working. He definitely used alchemy as part of his practice. And I'll let your imagination run wild. So he liked to conduct these dangerous experiments, and he was conducting one of those experiments in the fall of 1869 when things went quite badly and Cyrus Teed was horribly electrocuted.
Ooh.
Now, he didn't die.
Ah, okay. This is like a superpower electrocution.
Yes, this is the Ernest goes to jail version of electrocution, where he suddenly can shoot lightning from his fingers.
I was hoping Ernest P. Worrell would show up in one of these episodes.
Oh, man. Jim Varney, what a treasure.
Oh, my goodness.
I wonder if those movies hold up one iota.
They absolutely do. They absolutely do. Yes.
I tell you, I was real scared of Ernest Scared Stupid. That one really did something to me. The troll in that movie is one of the scariest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, I could not watch Ernest Scared Stupid. I'm again, I watched it the first time and I'm like, well, that's cross that off the list.
That's one of the movies I saw it in a movie theater, and I went outside and it was dark in the theater, and I went outside and it was light outside, and I thought, thank God. I've never felt so relieved. And then I did spend some time checking all the trees around my house for giant Brussels sprout shaped troll eggs. I was happy to report that I found none.
There's something, and maybe it was just my shielded youth, but there is something about movies that don't intend to be scary that end up being very, very, very scary.
Such as
Little Monsters.
it's been a long. I don't. It's been so long.
That was
That's supposed to be like a fun romp, though, right?
Yes, yeah, it's supposed to be very fun. You know, the monster shows up under his bed and takes what's that? Ben Savage down into
Is it Ben?
Ben and Fred are both in the movie.
Oh, okay.
So Ben gets kidnapped. Fred,
and then Fred has to go get him.
yeah, has to go get him. It's supposed to be very lighthearted, like
And it's like blues and purples and yellows and stuff. Right?
Yeah.
It's like fun colors. Yeah. Easy breezy.
Just absolutely scared the pants off me. Just terrifying. But then, movies like Critters and, stuff like that, they're trying to scare you. So they kind of.
Yeah, you went in with your guard up.
Right. Yeah. I did not go with my guard up for Little Monsters.
Anyway, so this is not about that. So he gets horribly electrocuted and he didn't die, but he did lose consciousness for quite some time. And it's during this period of unconsciousness that Cyrus Teed has what he called a divine illumination.
Oh, okay. Some people call that brain damage, but that's also fine.
Nope. This is the voice of God talking to Cyrus Teed. In this mystical experience, God appeared to Cyrus in the form of a beautiful woman. Some people say this is an angel, but some people say, or Cyrus, I think, said that it was actually God in beautiful woman form.
Okay.
And
so you could understand what was going on.
Yeah.
Like, you can't see my true form, but I chose the form of a beautiful lady.
But have you heard of Rita Hayworth? Here I am. And Cyrus had a lot of confusing feelings about religion after this.
You will know who she is in 100 years.
So she tells Cyrus all the secrets of the universe.
All of them.
All of them. And we'll talk about some of them in a second.
Okay.
She tells all.
Mm-hmm.
She told him that he was the 7th prophet in a line of prophets that included Adam at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And the most recent of those prophets, number 6.
Joseph Smith?
Jesus the Christ.
Oh, really? So he's related to Joseph Smith.
He's related to Joseph Smith, but Joseph
but he doesn't put him on the list.
Line of the prophets.
Ouch. That is a shame.
Now I think this was after Joseph had already done his thing, where he wink wink found these mystical plates, wink wink, that told him all these secrets, wink wink.
All of a sudden Joseph's cousin starts having the same kind of visions just after accidentally stepping on electric
he really
fence.
earned it. I mean, Cyrus also learns that he has been sent to redeem humanity. So this she-god urged Cyrus to, quote, use his scientific knowledge to interpret the Bible. So that
always works out well.
Yes.
Always works out well.
Yes.
Every single time.
And I will remind you that his scientific knowledge seems to center on herbs and uncontrollable amounts of electricity.
And dragging barges with livestock. So
yes. Animal husbandry probably in there somewhere. So that part does overlap. Oh gosh, this is a quote from somebody. I'll put the sources in the show notes as always. But many people believe that Teed's experience was more a result of brain damage than divine intervention. I think maybe that was a Patrick Dean quote, actually.
Well, still have high hopes for how this all turns out.
Yeah, because good. So Cyrus did too, because he knows the truth. This is real, and God wanted him to get weird with religion.
Beautiful, sexy God told me all of these things.
And when beautiful, sexy God tells you something, you do it.
Beautiful, sexy God told me so many things, and I remember a lot of them, but beautiful, sexy God was also very distracting.
Beautiful, sexy God had these amazing cans, and it was really hard. So Cyrus starts spreading the immutable truths of existence to the masses in upstate New York. Some of these truths include the secret to immortality, which we will talk about later on. I'll give you the secret in case you're interested.
Is Cyrus still around, or?
Yeah. Oh, today?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, no. Here's a spoiler. Cyrus is our ghost.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, see.
Actually.
You know what, listeners? The ghost just showed up.
Yeah.
We are Well, a half hour into it, but even so,
Splitting our time in half. It's pretty good. Actually, but that was the wrong. I misspoke. Cyrus is actually not our ghost.
Oh, never mind. Scratch that one off the board.
Our ghost actually will not appear until pretty late in this episode. But listen,
dear listener, I'm trying.
This is the exception that proves the rule, not the other way around. Anyway, so the secret to immortality. Listen. Don't get mad about do whatever you want. Get mad if you want about there not being any ghosts.
I don't really get mad about stuff anymore.
I'm not you. I'm not talking to you. You're just happy to be included. No, all listeners, listen. Get mad if you want. But I'll tell you this: if you turn this off right now, you are not going to learn the secret to immortality, which I will share later on after we meet the ghosts. Okay. Can we all shut up and get back to the show, please? So, secret to immortality, and one of the other immutable truths of existence is the fact that the earth is hollow and we live inside it.
Harder to believe. That one. Yeah. I don't know about that one. Well, I mean, wouldn't we be able to see all the rest of it then?
Oh, Patrick.
I mean, I'm not like a geometrist or anything, but I'm pretty sure if you're inside of a basketball, all you see is inside of basketball.
Well, Patrick, I hate to break it to you, but you're correct. Maybe you know more about what do you call it? Let's see, cellular cosmogony than you think.
Oh, or I will soon.
You're going to learn more than you ever thought possible. Cyrus did develop a theory of the universe called cellular cosmogony, and the theory basically states the Earth is indeed round, so that puts him way ahead of some idiots today. At least he's not a flat earther. He agrees the Earth is round, however, it is hollow, and we do live inside it, and the sky and the universe also exist on the inside of the Earth. So yes, we are looking up, or as he would say, in and seeing the sky. But I know what you're thinking. I would love to see a really detailed model of this, and I'm really glad to that you want to see that.
Oh, please let's be it in a 3D model. Please.
Well, first of all, here's Cyrus. This is him.
Okay, he looks
Teedy.
very clever. Sure.
Yep. Yeah, he's got glasses. Got a cravat. And then here is the hollow Earth model.
Oh,
it does make more sense when you see it, right?
No, it does. Sure. So when you look up, all you see is so, dear listener, what I didn't portray earlier is that there is another sphere inside of our sphere, and that sphere is made up of everything in the universe.
Yes, and then you'll see in this model, the universe is smaller than the planet Earth.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
That's an important point.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. I'm confused. What's on the outside of the Earth then? If there's,
I can't tell. I think it's just crust.
It looks like wallpaper, maybe. I'm not sure. Whatever you mean.
Let's enhance. It could be wallpaper.
I'm seeing a hint of a floral design. So.
So for those of you not looking and not watching on YouTube, and you may want to just go Google this for yourself. But imagine a globe that you've cracked in half and you've split open like an egg. But unlike a regular globe where the oceans and the continents are on the outside, they're on the inside. So these are concave continents. Right. So inside, it's the same globe, just on the inside, painted on the inside of the globe, and then in the center of that is a bigger or a smaller sphere with stars, and I guess this is the moon. Like half of it is the moon. I
guess, although the dimensions are very far off.
It's very so it's hard to tell.
I don't know how well thought out this was, but
that's a hell of a thing to say.
I mean, I'm just saying.
This is a very professional model, is what I will say. There was a lot of resources put into making this model. It looks great.
That is fair. It is beautiful. It's very lovely.
Don't know
whoever you commissioned
it is, but
very talented.
Great. Yes. So this is cellular cosmogony. Okay. So we're all living on the inside. And this is not something he just decided. This is God told him this.
Oh, well, yeah.
It's not like he's crazy. He just God made it very clear.
Just reporting the facts here, guys. I'm just writing it down as it comes out of beautiful, sexy God's mouth.
And as you're gonna be hard pressed to argue this. One of his proof points for this was gravity does not exist. That doesn't make any sense. What actually makes sense is centrifugal force. We are held to planets by centrifugal force.
Because we're being spinning and we're being pushed out. Okay.
Exactly.
That's true.
I've been on that ride at Six Flags.
It's observable at the... Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Also thought that the sun, which existed inside the universe, inside the middle of our Earth, is an electromagnetic battery-operated helix. Any further questions?
Drifting again. I'll be honest. This one, that seemed like someone maybe brought it up in a discussion and he wasn't prepared to answer it, and he just sort of threw a bunch of things together.
It's electromagnetic.
It's but like a ladder.
Yes,
double helix of
it pushes. It's battery is how it stores energy and then pushes that around. Like a helix. You look in the sky, the sun. Look, it's a helix. Look at it, everyone. It's clearly a helix.
Everyone, continue staring at it. In fact,
what's that? 10 years from now, you won't remember what the sun looked like. Take my word for it, I suppose. So cellular cosmogony becomes the central tenet of Cyrus's new, that's right, religion. Other tenets include alchemy, reincarnation,
okay,
immortality,
okay, wait,
communism. What?
Hold on, I gotta go a few back here. Okay. All right, so the okay, I'm really confused. Reincarnation and immortality.
Yeah.
These seem at odds with each other.
Now, we will sort of talk about this later. I think the idea is through reincarnation, you achieve immortality.
Okay. That's fair.
So they're intertwined.
If we're all on the inside of this sphere, I guess it makes sense. Like, where else are we going to go?
Yes.
like,
right. We have to be there.
You're going to go into the big orb in the middle? I don't know. Maybe. Seems kind of scary with the helix and everything.
Feels come out the other side.
Yeah, exactly. You're just going to bang on the other side in China or the ocean or something like that. Yeah. So, makes sense. Okay. Proceed.
So you're on board. Okay.
I'm on board through those two.
So, okay. Alchemy, reincarnation, immortality, communism.
Okay. He's gonna gain some followers, and then in about 80 years he's gonna lose some followers.
A whole lot of followers and some fingers. And the final tenet is the thing that actually promises immortality, which is celibacy.
Ooh.
You can live forever, but you can never have sex again. And I say that's two bad things.
Yeah.
No interest in either. Thank you.
I like the beginning, a beginning and an end, and I like enjoying the middle.
So he's building his new religion now. Cyrus is. Oh, except he's not called Cyrus anymore. He changes his name to the Hebrew version of Cyrus, which is.
You can look for a while. I'm not going to get there. Yeah.
You know what? I bet. Here's what I'll say. I'm not going to ask you to do this, but I bet if you tried for not as long as you might think, you would probably actually guess this, knowing what you have already heard about his insanity and the fact that he's obviously starting a cult here.
I got nothing. I got nothing here.
He changed his name to the Hebrew version of Cyrus, which is Koresh.
Oh,
you'd have gotten there before too long.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. David Koresh, famously the Waco, Texas lunatic. Now, they're not related. There's nothing in common with them, but they did both change their name after this Hebrew version of Cyrus. David Koresh, that's right, David?
Oh yeah. I'm still just kind of trying to.
You're just kind of looking at me
piece
like
everything
it's
together. Like is does David Koresh subscribe to this? I mean,
David Koresh doesn't subscribe to Jack anymore.
His subscription.
I don't know if you know how that story ended, but no, he has no connection to the story here. That was also I did a lot of research just to make sure that was true.
Yeah.
It is true. Confusing but true. No connection between this and David Koresh.
I did a lot of David Koresh searching on my work computer, and
the FBI are here, and I have to go for a second. I do when I'm writing, I have to research a lot of things. I always forget. I don't. Sometimes I remember to put on my private browser, but sometimes I don't. And yesterday I was working on the next Anomaly Flats book, and Anomaly Flats is a very strange place where strange science fiction-y things happen and some occultish things happen.
Mm-hmm.
I spent a lot of time trying to Google the specific properties of lamb's blood.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of specifics about like what it tastes like and things, and did not remember to put on private browsing for that. So that's
Well.
now my ads are all fucked up.
The worst part of this, job notwithstanding, is the algorithm is really confused
It's
as
very
to what
confused.
I like to drink.
Yep. Anyway, so he changed his name to Koresh, and he calls his new religion Koreshan Universology.
A little catchier than the cellular microbiology thing or whatever.
Yeah, sure. It's most commonly referred to as Koreshanity. So Cyrus starts building. I'm gonna keep calling him Cyrus because that's his name. I'm sorry, Koresh, but your name is Cyrus. Cyrus starts building up his follower base around Utica, New York, but there's a small problem. As he's building this new religious following in upstate New York, he's not the only one trying to do that in upstate New York.
It's a very popular endeavor in this time.
It's quite popular.
Upstart cult religion thing.
Yes, he is the latest, as one article put it, in a long line of middle-aged white men who claim to be visited by angels in order to start a new religion. So at this point, New York is also home to the Mormons, the Shakers, the Millerites, and the Oneida community, just to name a few.
Whew.
So there are so many new weird religious cults firing up in central New York at this time that the whole area comes to be called the Burned Over District, as a reference to all the fire and brimstone.
But the conference industry really is booming at this point. It's if you have like a few thousand square feet and like a shitty concession stand, I mean, you're
making
cashing checks all day long,
hand over fist. So let's see, where are we here? People outside of these communities start turning against the new religious organizations a bit because they're just so sick of all of them. And because of his strange new beliefs, Cyrus starts losing a lot of his medical patients. And I want to be clear, again, his medical patients were not like the ones who were making good decisions in the first place. And even they are like, I think this is enough. He also loses his wife and son. I think she leaves him.
Yeah, because seems like a good time to go.
Yeah. Also, now he's celibate. So what's in it for her now?
Not yeah.
Sucks.
Ride's over. I gotta
literally. So he also cannot manage to get a formal commune off the ground in New York. The people there are just so fed up and like they won't give him permits for a formal place or anything. So his personal and professional and religious lives are all collapsing. So he gathers up his things, gathers up his people, and in 1888, Cyrus moves them all to Chicago.
Oh, okay. How many people does he have at this point?
He has, well, I'll tell you I'll tell you how many he has in about 6 months. I won't tell you in 6 months. In about 6 months this time.
I will text you in 6 months.
Remind me.
Do you remember that episode?
I will forget.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I forget the episode by the next morning. You know this.
So he goes to Chicago and he brings his followers with him. Their goal is to find the New Jerusalem, they call it.
Chicago's a great place to start.
Sure.
A lot of people find everything they're looking for there.
Oh, yeah. I think that's traditionally how that works here. He sets up a new medical practice here in Chicago, and he starts to build the very first Koreshan commune. So again, when he talks about communism, he's the original tenets of communism. Like, everyone works, everyone shares. So it's
okay.
Less of the problematic.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Not communism.
Not like
communism.
It's more like Marxism and and
okay.
Less of the red commie stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
So he's building his commune, and it goes pretty well, actually. He soon has over 100 followers in Chicago.
That's not bad.
Building a nice little nest egg for himself.
Okay.
And most of these people, they're not just rubes from the rural parts of town. They are middle and upper middle class, highly educated people.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
They're getting less educated by the day.
Yes. Yeah, those brain cells are sloughing right off. One of the things that was
the daily electrocutions are taking care of all those extra brain cells.
don't want to change your
You're coming
mind.
with-
Boop, zap. One of the reasons Koreshanity is so popular is because it was preaching at this time in 1888. It was preaching equality between the sexes, and so women in particular were like, I don't know, I kind of like what this guy has to say.
Yeah. I mean, he's like not trying to have sex with me all the time like the other cult leaders
He's
keep
trying
doing.
to have sex with me
So
0 times, which makes
Yeah.
him very unique among cult leaders. Absolutely. Over 75% of the members were women, and many of whom joined without their husbands.
Mhm.
Here's a quote from an article. Teed was sued by more than one angry husband for alienation of their spouses.
Ooh.
In one death threat, the anonymous letter writer said, quote, Teed, you will be shot and killed by me on sight. I am determined to rid this community of you, you dirty blackleg S of a B. And the article was clear that the S dash 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 and B dash 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 was original, in fact, to the letter.
I will kill you, but I will also censor my language because I'm a gentleman.
And this is the person probably who became the first censor of motion pictures. You can watch as much violence as you want, but no bad language.
It'd be so horrible though. Like you get visited by beautiful, sexy God.
Mhm.
Beautiful, sexy God's like, I want you to start a cult.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, okay, cool.
It's going to be mostly women.
I mean, yeah. It's gonna be mostly women that leave their husband to follow you around the country, even to Chicago. Okay, cool. What are the rules? Oh, number 1, you can't have sex with any of them. Oh, okay, beautiful, sexy God. I'll still do it, but can't I just like build a boat or something? I don't know. I don't know if I'm on board with this anymore.
You know, Noah got laid like brick on that boat.
Oh, absolutely. A ship with nothing but his daughters and wife. I mean, it was just them, and the earth was completely empty.
Got to repopulate somehow.
What do you think happened?
The t-shirt makes itself this week. So this angry husband's letter actually continues. So you dirty blackleg S of a B, you will be shot the first time you show you face in a certain section of this city. Didn't tell him which section of the city, so that's keeping him on his toes.
I mean, there's a lot of parts of Chicago that could happen today, to be perfectly frank.
That's right.
I mean,
and then the letter was
anything
signed,
south of 35th, really.
Yeah, or west of California, kind of.
Absolutely. Yeah.
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 And in that little space, just north of.
There's a lot more than I was remembering, actually.
Yeah.
So.
You want to come back or?
No, I think I'm good. But can we step back just a couple lines here? What is the black-legged thing? I don't understand that part. You black-legged son of a bitch.
Dirty black-leg son of a bitch. I'm sorry, S of a B.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
we're just assuming. So you can't put words
in
his mouth. You don't know that he means son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know that reference.
Black-legged.
Black leg. Not even black-legged. Black
no,
leg.
just black leg. Black leg.
Yeah. Think about that one.
Curious.
Gangrenous? Is he a gangrenous son of a bitch?
I'm also accusing you of leprosy. And of stealing my wife and not even fucking her.
If you're going to steal my wife, the least you can do is fuck her.
Do you know how dissatisfied she must be?
Almost as dissatisfied as she was here with me when I was fucking her. So he's not very popular with some of the men in town, but he's growing. He's getting more and more followers. He has some other smaller communes going on in New York and San Francisco.
Oh, like a franchise. I like this.
He's franchising a lot. But he can't have all his followers spread out like that. And they've not yet found New Jerusalem. He wants them all in one place, one big commune. And things are getting a little tense in Chicago because all the husbands are getting pretty mad that he's not sleeping with their wives.
Use guys.
So he's got to find New Jerusalem. And before long, he does find it. I will give you one guess. Which state you think these fucking weirdos find New Jerusalem for their cult?
Gonna have to go with Ohio.
You would be incorrect, sir.
What? Not Ohio. Wild.
Got to think way weirder.
Way weirder than Ohio?
Oh, yeah.
Cold or warm?
Oh, it's warm.
It's very warm. Is this? Or are they going to Arizona?
No.
Ooh.
Oh, they're going to Florida.
Of course they're going to Florida.
The answer was
That's
too
like we're
obvious.
co-
I understand.
That's like where Colts go to retire. Oh.
They find it in Florida. In 1894, they start migrating down to a little unincorporated town named Estero, Florida.
Sounds nice.
It's right on the coast, actually, just south of Fort Myers. So it's pretty prime location. And Cyrus starts buying some property. In fact, he buys quite a lot of property.
Oh, interesting.
He buys 300 acres of land.
Ooh, that's Disney numbers there, man.
That's right. This is actually the story of Disney World. Koresh then changed his name to Walt.
Thank God that copyright expired, because we can say whatever the fuck we want now.
So he buys a lot of land. Now remember, he's got a lot of middle and upper class people joining Koreshanity, and I should note that when you join, you sign over all of your property to the Unity.
Okay.
So Cyrus is rolling in it. Now, it's a swamp. There is nothing there. It's classic Florida swampland. And so it's not like he just bought a mansion and was like, this is where we live now. He bought this really awful land, and they spend several years like hacking out a life there. Like they have to like take out all this, like literally hacking out, the flora and chasing away animals and stuff. And eventually, after a few years, they start building houses. They get an infrastructure going. They do some really extensive landscaping with all sorts of, they bring in all these exotic tropical plants that have no business being in the United States. And they start moving people in. And the compound is really something. I don't think I have any photos of it, but a lot of it is still standing today. It's a museum today. It's a museum park. It's a park and also a museum.
Sure.
The compound is big. They end up building, they have a bunch of different houses. They have a general store, a sawmill, a concrete works.
Wow.
They build their own power plant that then starts servicing other houses like outside of their commune.
Okay.
Before the state brought in anything like that. They erect a school called the World College of Life.
Everybody gets to pick one word for the school.
And they set up a printing press and published their own newspaper called the Flaming Sword. They even had a bakery there that put out 600 loaves of bread a day. Wow. And they would sell them to the locals around the area.
Interesting. They would just start the day with one loaf, and then by the end,
magically. And where do these fucking fish come from? So they're being good neighbors. They're sharing their electricity. They're making bread. They're like selling bread to people. They're
not fucking any of the wives.
They're not fucking any wives. Not a single one.
Like, really, these are pretty good neighbors.
That's who you want for sure. Yeah. They come with some baggage, but you put a fence up and that's going to be fine.
Yeah.
They incorporate the town of Estero formally. They make it a real city, and it becomes the 5th largest city by area in the entire United States at this time.
Wow. Goodness.
It's a big deal. Cyrus projects that within 10 years, Koreshanity will have 10 million followers. How many do you think they had at their peak?
I'm trying to think of how many zeros to take off of 10 million. I'm going to say they had 1,000.
250.
250 people total.
Well, one thing you may not have thought about yet, Patrick, is that if one of your core tenets of your cult is celibacy,
not reproducing,
you're not really making a whole lot of new followers for yourself.
So the guy that thinks we're living on the inside of a basketball had some other logical fallacies.
It's weird, isn't it? It's weird.
Well.
So once they start dying out, it's pretty hard to replenish that group. They also had trouble recruiting people because they started using the Hollow Earth thing as the selling point. And now I have some really fun photos to show you. So here's obviously the model.
Sure.
Here is one of the pamphlets they used to try to increase their following.
We live, okay, so it's some sort of handbill. Looks like it was probably printed at their printing press because it's off center. It says, "We live inside." It shows like a cracked eggshell Earth, of course, with the atlas drawn on the inside of it, because that's where he thinks that we live. And then there's an orb in the center of where the egg yolk would be that merely says the heavens.
The heavens.
I'm still not entirely sure why the heavens also have to be a sphere. Like that's none of that.
Well, it's got to fit. It's got to fit.
Right. Yeah, I guess.
Idiot.
But
It's got to fit.
but so what's the logic behind? Oh, well, everything has to be a sphere inside of a sphere. What's
What
inside
else
of
would
the
it be? What do you
heavens?
put a cube in there?
What's inside of the heavens then?
God, you gotta drain the ocean and kill God to find out.
And then someday when we crack open the heavens, we'll see who lives on the inside of that one too.
That's right.
Now
this
then
slogan,
there's a
"We live
smaller heavens
inside."
Right.
Sorry,
It says
that
we
would-
live inside.
That's their big slogan.
Yeah.
That's what they were putting. We live inside.
We live inside.
Yeah.
Which, from what I know of people that live in Florida, that's probably a very popular, very popular selling point. I also live inside. I hate it outside. It's fucking awful.
Yeah.
Drop in and see us. Now that sounds kind of scary, actually, because if you were to drop into this Earth, you would fall into the heavens.
No, I think it's kind of clever to be like, we're inside, drop on in. That's pretty good. And then
on
some
Englewood Avenue in Chicago. Our literature may be obtained at Hall Sunday evenings.
the Flaming Sword is their
Flaming Sword.
publication. Yep. So this is obviously before they moved to Florida, but this was typical of their pamphlets. And I think I have. Oh yeah, here's a billboard.
Wow, that is. I would be proud of that billboard. It's probably maybe 12 foot tall by 20 feet wide, and
That's a big billboard.
Yeah. Cellular cosmogony, which, boy,
no one knows what that is.
That is, I mean, that's like that's like an SEO word right there. You make up the word so nobody can miss-Google it, basically.
Yep. Someone Googles it, you are the 1 through 1,000th hit for sure.
The Earth, a concave sphere. We live inside. Still pushing that.
So that's the whole thing. That is the main thing they push. Well, they're not going to lead with celibacy.
Right.
So this is what they think is going to attract people. It's insane. And so this big billboard has the same cracked open earth. Their whole thing. The Guiding Star Publishing House presents Cellular Cosmogony, the Earth concave sphere. And this will bring the people.
Obviously.
Spoiler alert, it did not work.
No, I mean it drew in 249 people.
It worked a bit. It worked a bit. It worked a lot more than it should have. That's true.
It worked about as well as this podcast used. So we grew from there. I could see why Cyrus figured he would also grow from there. So
that's right. That's true.
But his jokes probably weren't as funny. And
boy, I hope not. I hope we got one up on Cyrus. We're definitely having more sex than he is. That's great. So their signs, as you've seen, have "We live inside" printed on them. Even their organizational structure was modeled after the solar system. So at the time, there were 7 known planets. So Cyrus appointed 7 women to oversee all affairs for the religion.
Okay.
These were known as the Planetary Sisters. Each one represented, of course, a planet. Cyrus himself represented the sun.
Sure.
And he chose a successor, a woman named Annie Ordway, and she represented the moon.
Wow.
The locals thought they were all insane.
and these are, let's not forget, these are Florida locals.
Yeah, that's a high bar. But they're trapped. So again, they are benefiting though. They've all got power going to their houses, which they love. They're able to buy bread. The Unity also brings a lot of culture to the area. They organized the first ever Southwest Florida Symphony Orchestra.
Oh, okay.
They held concerts and festivals. They invited everyone. They're very open and said, please join us. You don't have to be part of our religion. Come and listen to these concerts. They performed plays. They did a lot of Shakespeare. They also performed some original works. They had a stage in their commune. And I know what you're thinking. Boy, I'd love to get my hands on one of those original Koreshanity plays. And here's what I can tell you. One of their original plays was titled Women, 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 Suffragettes, Yes.
Women, suffragettes. Yes. Okay. That's fine.
What I would pay Joe Buck money to see a production of Women, Suffragettes, Yes.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy. So the Koreshanity folks, they live in harmony for a little while, and they become actually kind of popular with some people. Fun fact, Thomas Edison used to winter in nearby Fort Myers, and he would go visit the Koreshans and discuss electricity with them.
Oh, Oh,
You just
interesting.
know Cyrus is wetting himself over this.
Yeah.
I love your work. You made this happen. You made me meet sexy she-god. Thomas Edison would trade plants and seeds with them. He gifted them some bamboo shoots, and they were like, "These are great." And they planted them, and the offspring of those shoots are still there today.
Huh. Wonderful.
Yeah.
So Thomas Edison just, handing out invasive species
Yeah.
seeds to whatever crazy cult wants them.
That is one of the many ways in which Thomas Edison was a garbage person. We may get around to Thomas Edison one of these days. I bet he's got a ghost. So anyway, so the locals are benefiting, but they don't like them. The whole Hollow Earth thing is obviously off-putting.
Mhm.
And they really don't like the celibacy thing. They don't trust anything that doesn't have sex.
Everyone over there is so pent up. I don't trust it. I don't trust it.
So, gosh, where are we here? According to the Koreshan State Park Museum curator, Robert Hughes, here's how the whole idea of celibacy and immortality worked. You would focus this is a quote, you would focus all your sexual energies on Cyrus's mind. Okay.
Okay.
And then when he died, you would disintegrate and then come back as neither male nor female.
Okay. None of these sound good. I can definitely see how if you're starting to get a little too turned on, focusing on Cyrus just takes care of that right there.
Oh yes. Libido down. Now I think this is where the ghost trouble starts, because this gives me a lot to think about. Obviously no one has died yet, but we talk a lot on the show about how to create ghosts. Big one being, of course, unfinished business. Being, I think, super pissed off when you die is that's some good ghost energy. I think this may be a new category here. I think that if you engage in some really intense focusing of sexual energies on another person's mind in the hopes that when he dies you will disintegrate and be reborn, that's a lot of misfocused energy. And I think that's going to stay behind. I think you're putting energy that should be in you.
Yeah.
You're putting it out there in a place where it doesn't belong.
Yeah, that's the kind of energy that shows up under a black light. I don't think you want. I don't think you want to leave that around after you go.
It's a Rorschach test of ghosts in here. So anyway, so the locals are getting a little uneasy about their neighbors, and they really start to get a little worked up when the Koreshans enter local politics. This fun little cult forms their own political party, the Progressive Liberty Party. Keep in mind, they are pretty progressive and about some things. They start running against local incumbent Democrats for various positions. Now, they're losing every time, but they're not losing by as much as the incumbents would like them to lose by. Right? So they're a little bit of a threat. And the fact that they incorporated the commune as a town, remember, this is worrisome to local politicians because now they're a voting base with tax implications. And they're entitled to local tax benefits. And the folks in Fort Myers do not care for that. They've crossed a line now.
Yeah. Their bread is delicious. Their women are oddly interested in me. But the tax implications I cannot abide by.
Oh boy. So tension is growing between the Koreshans and the normies. And things come to a head on October 13th, 1906, when a group of Koreshans are in Fort Myers to meet a train coming in from Baltimore. They get into a fight with some locals. I couldn't tell who picked the fight, but they get into a fight. And Cyrus is there. He tries to break it up. And he was, quote, pistol whipped and severely beaten.
Ooh.
Okay, so it was either by a marshal whose name was Sanchez or by a guy whose name was Marshall Sanchez.
Wikipedia was not clear on this. Yeah, well.
I don't know. Either way, he's pistol whipped and severely beaten. He's beaten very badly, and he never fully recovers from his injuries. They cause some circulatory problems that become pretty serious over the next year or two. And 2 years later, on December 22nd, 1908, Cyrus dies from those complications.
And then everybody else disintegrates.
Well, this is a very exciting time for the Koreshans. Because yes, they are all about to be obliterated and resurrected.
Mhm.
I actually have a photo. It's not really a photo of that, but here you go.
Oh, okay, sure.
This
Yes,
is,
yeah,
this
they're
is
all
one
gonna
of
get.
them.
They're all gonna get Thanos snapped.
They're getting
Okay,
Thanos
that's fair.
snapped.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to happen to them. So they're very excited. And the first step is Cyrus is going to be resurrected, right? So that's number one. Once he's resurrected, then they
have to wait
disintegrate
for. Okay.
Okay.
I didn't realize there were more steps. I thought it was just like a
Oh.
bam bam type thing.
No. He's got to be resurrected. And guess how long it'll take? Guess how many days?
I'm gonna say 3.
3 days, right?
3 days.
Jesus
Okay.
was the last prophet
Like
in
the
this
big
line.
one.
Now it's Cyrus.
Mhm.
Now, to the Koreshans, this is lining up just perfectly. They can't fucking believe their luck because he dies, remember, on December 22nd. What's 3 days after December 22nd?
Oh, he's gonna.
So
yeah,
they are just drenched with excitement.
I would never wish ill on anybody, but if someone's gonna die, this would be the day for it to happen.
Yes. So they're like, this is all happening. It's all happening. He died on the 22nd. He's going to rise up on Jesus's birthday. This is it. This is what we've been waiting for. And so they they have to wait for his body to, for 3 days for his body to, it's going to hang out there for a few days. And so they drag a tin bathtub onto the theater stage and they toss Cyrus's body inside the bathtub.
Sure.
And then all you do is wait. So there are always a lot of followers around, of course. They're all waiting in anticipation. They want to make sure the body is safe for 3 days.
Sure.
And at least once a day, they would bring the Unity children onto the stage to view the body. Which did get a little weird once it started to decompose.
Well, that's why you put them in the bathtub. You got a little drain on the bottom. Let some of that just seep out.
And it is, it's 95. It's, even in December, it's 100% humidity. It's that body's going quickly.
Air conditioning was invented to prevent this from happening, and here we are.
So the body does start to decompose, and you might be thinking, well, surely that convinces them that this is not going to happen.
And Cyrus is also disintegrating very slowly.
Well, they took it as, quote, evidence of the new life beginning to take hold. Gotta get rid of that old body.
Like maggots?
Yeah, they take hold. And
These flies are also taking hold.
So finally Christmas arrives. Then Christmas is over.
Ooh.
And then it's not Christmas anymore. And Cyrus is not resurrected.
The worst feeling is that day after Christmas hangover feeling. Like
you get it.
You've been building up to it for months and months. You look at all the decorations. A little too much booze the night before. And all you see is decorations that have to come down. And, your prophet in a pile in a bathtub on a stage. So you're like, what am I going to do with all of these things now?
No, you're wrong. The Koreshans do not give up hope. They let it sit there. And they say, he'll come back. It's taken him a lot longer than we thought, but he's gonna be fine. Now, after a couple of weeks of his body just sitting out in Florida, the county health officer does come by and he says, you have to bury this body. You cannot do this.
This whole building smells like a pizza oven of stink. You have to get rid of this.
Now they can't bury him underground because that's going to make it very hard for him to get out of the ground when he resurrects.
It's also Florida because if you dig down 1 inch,
yes,
it's a pool.
It's to sweep him out to the ocean. So of course they build an above ground tomb by the beach. Members keep watch 24/7, and they even moored a boat nearby so that when he came back, he could just hop in and sail away. I don't know where he's going. Seems kind of rude. They've been waiting here for so long for you, and you just get in a boat and go. But okay,
shambling along with just bones hanging out and most of your face gone. Like, I'm gonna get in the boat, guys. Okay, you go in the boat.
Is this cruise all inclusive? So they do this and they wait for him to come back. They wait for 13 years. And they would have waited longer, except in 1921, a hurricane sweeps the mausoleum and the body of Cyrus Teed is swept out into the ocean and he is never seen again.
And then did they get to disintegrate?
In a manner of
Pretty sure.
speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, they petered out, you could say.
Okay.
Eventually, they all die out. They
Mm-hmm.
lasted basically till like the 70s, I think. And then they all kind of died out. And again, they're celibate, so it doesn't pass on to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, as we know, as we discussed, Cyrus's followers spent all that sexual energy focusing on resurrection, and they never got to finish that business. So they, even though they are dead, I regret to inform you, Patrick, they're still there waiting for Cyrus to resurrect in their ghostly forms. The land is now a state park. At least part of it is. A lot of the original commune is preserved there. You can go check it out in a museum form. There are shadow people fucking everywhere.
Oh, finally.
They're not fucking though. No, sorry.
Oh.
They are there are fucking shadow people everywhere. Sorry. They would never.
Oh, for all of eternity, getting their rocks off. Cyrus, you son of a bitch. This is just as fun as I thought it would be.
And now we can do it forever. Thank you, Cyrus. Your final gift to us. Immortality. So there are shadow people everywhere, all over the compound. There's a lot on the trails. They will disappear as soon as you get close to them, usually, but sometimes they stay until you are unnervingly close. There are also disembodied voices in a lot of the buildings. There are, of course, floating orbs of light. Classic. Some folks, every now and then, you'll get people who take pictures of buildings, and a lot of the buildings are locked in. You can't go in them. Some of them you can, but a lot of them, you can't because they're being preserved. So people take pictures of those buildings, and every once in a while, someone will look at their photos, and they will find people in early 1900s dress standing inside, staring back at them through the window.
Man.
And the going theory here is that the ghost will continue to haunt the park until Cyrus Teed resurrects from inside the belly of whatever shark ate him up, and he swims his chewed up ass back to Florida. And I'd say I wish him all the best of luck. I wish him all luck. So if you want to go check out the weird history of the Koreshans and see if you can find the ghosts of the people waiting for Cyrus Teed to resurrect, you can do that. It's in Florida. It looks like it's in a good part of Florida. Yeah. On the coast. It's nice.
I would be really careful though, really careful if you're just gonna like hop in your car and punch in Koresh cult compound into your GPS. Be real careful as to where it's taking you.
You're going to be specific about which Koresh cult compound because it's more than you think. Oh boy. Hey, you go to Florida and you're going to Florida soon for Disney World.
Yeah.
You got a family in Florida?
I will stop by the family friendly Koresh cult compound, perhaps.
Disney World.
Yeah.
Great. Well, and I have other good news. So that's the end of our story, but I have good news. We had quite a few suggestions for how to close the show.
I forgot. Yes.
So I'm going to try one out this week and we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
But first we should tell you, Is This a Ghost is a production of Smith Show Media. All the notes this week, a lot of notes. Wow. We're taken by me, Clayton Smith, and all the funny jokes are from Patrick Dean. Our video editor is Jennifer Swanson. Our audio editor is Jeremy Montoya. And that's it for us today. Take care, everybody, because if you don't, we might be talking about you in the next episode of Is This a Ghost?
It's kind of like that hair follicle surgery where they go in and do you know how that one works? Hair transplant surgery? Nope. You don't? Buddy.
Don't think I'm going to like to hear it. Go on.
Are you recording? Because we're going to want this one down for the record.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So what they do is they go into the back of your head, like down at the bottom of your hairline, right? And they come through and they take a slice out of your neck. They just slice that chunk of your neck out of the the skin, right? Maybe like a 1/2 inch wide, something like that. And then they sew it back up. They like pinch it, right? And they sew it back up. And now they've got like a strip of sod, let's call it.
No, let's not call it that.
And then what they do is they go into the sod, they cut it away until they find each little follicle. And then they go into the front of your head up here where you're missing the hairs.
Sure.
And they take a drill and they drill little tiny holes into each one of where your hair follicles used to be. And they plant each one of the little seedlings. And then you wear like gauze on right here because it's obviously bleeding profusely.
Sure, yeah.
Drilled in the head like
head.
Yeah. And then after a few weeks, it stops bleeding. But after that point, you can no longer look down past about this point because
Yeah,
all
'cause
that
your-
skin
your
is missing.
You're tight there.
Yeah. So
Okay.
anytime there's somebody that you're not quite sure if they've gone through with the procedure, ask them if they can touch their chin to their chest. And they can't.
You either have got the procedure or you have meningitis. So either way, I don't know.
Either way, time to go to a doctor.
Well, I'll say this: it does sound effective.
Oh, very effective.
If your goal is to
Extremely
get more
popular.
hair in front of there, that's effective.
Did you know that Joe Buck almost died from hair transplant surgery?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Huh. He's got a
yeah.
lot of money, right? He's got a lot of
He does.
endorsement
He
deals
does.
and stuff.
And these are the things he chooses to do with his life. He
That's
chooses
interesting.
to give to fucking astroturf his head and almost die from it. So
Okay.
so
What would you do if you had Joe Buck money?
if I had Joe Buck money,
Hmm?
buddy, what if I had Joe Buck money? I don't think I'd live here anymore.
No, probably
No.
your basement would be more studio
Yeah.
appropriate, I think.
Maybe I would, but I'd dig down. I think that's what I would do.
Okay.
I think there's a lot more
Okay.
room down than people
Yeah,
give credit
you'd
for.
shatter the foundation of your house and put the entire
Yes.
thing at risk to go down. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know how far down you could go with Joe Buck money?
Pretty far down.
Yeah, I mean this
You could
house is like
you could have upside down skyscraper.
this house is like 25 feet square. I could go so far down if you gave me Joe Buck money. I'm willing to bet I could go down 300 feet from where
You
I
could
am
have
right
a
now.
mantle scraper. World's first mantle scraper.
I will go down there so far that it would be uncomfortably hot. I would need to install air conditioning at the bottom of my skyscraper hole.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I would do if I had Joe Buck money. What would you do?